Hey guys, welcome into the show. Vic Faust here. Pro Joe, our producer, alongside. 6:03 is the time. It is June 4th, rocking the St. Louis airwaves this morning. Hope you guys are ready to join us this morning. Obviously, it's a rainy, wet morning throughout the St. Louis metro. We knew it was coming. My gosh, and it may be here all week. I start looking at the weather. I'm like, oh no, here we go. We already had the wettest April, I think, on record. May wasn't too far behind. I think we had a listener, Greg, who was jumping in giving us that yesterday. And I was like, yeah, I'm not surprised. Not surprised at all that these things are happening. Those totals come up that it is just nasty. We'll give you some more weather reports coming up, but it's supposed to rain, or at least there's scattered showers or chance of scattered showers for most of the day for the St. Louis metro area, most of it to the north of us. But it is one of those things, sleeping with rain. Love it. Love sleeping with rain. That's a good thing. Just difficult to get up. So we're glad you're with us this morning. This is Arch City Now. We're here Monday through Friday, 6 to 8 a.m. every day, Monday through Friday. Covering everything St. Louis. Glad you guys are with us. Always ask you guys to jump in on the show. You can do that on YouTube. You can follow us at Arch City Now on YouTube. You can also follow us at Lou Info on YouTube. And of course, we're on X at Arch City Now. Pro Joe tells me Facebook's going to take 60 days, or we're 3 days in before we can get streaming. The same thing with TikTok. Have we gotten any updates on TikTok?
They said 24 hours and it still says that it's pending.
Okay. We just want to make sure that we are everywhere where you guys might feel comfortable. Clearly, you can listen to us at 590. You know that already. And of course, we'll be on we'll do stuff on Instagram as well. We'll have all of our socials getting them up for you guys, putting reels out there, and of course doing what we've always done as a podcast studio. There are some things, and I'll give some more updates. I know people are just now coming into the show. There are some technical things that we can't control yet. We will be able to do that. We don't want to have to do an interview and only half the audience see it, or some people see it and some people don't. But it's a work in progress. This massive undertaking, super successful so far. A lot of people watching us online yesterday as the show ended as well. So we're grateful for that. Thanks again to politician we have over there, Bill Eigel, who joined us yesterday to talk about money for the Chiefs, the 1.5 billion tax dollars for the Chiefs and Royals to stay in the state of Missouri. I was talking to some politician friends of mine yesterday. They don't think that's going to pass. They think they'll head to Kansas City, Kansas, if they need to. So that might be something that gets people excited when it comes to St. Louis, but it is what it is. We'll go from that standpoint. We are the Lou Information Station, live and on demand at louinfo.com. Once again, louinfo.com. Vic Faust here, Pro Joe alongside. We'd love for you guys to jump inside our show when you can, and you do that via YouTube. Right now, it's YouTube. You can join YouTube and start making comments and joining our show. If there's something you want us to cover, if there's a subject that we have not covered or something that we should be covering, what's happening in your neck of the woods? What is being talked about in your communities? What is moving the needle for you? What do you hear people talking about? Those sorts of things. And then all things St. Louis from that standpoint as well. That's what we're trying to do here on the show. It makes it a little bit more difficult because if we choose not to have guests, because we can't have everybody listening to a guest at the same time now, but we are trying to take care of that and go from that standpoint. Coming up on the show today, we may be talking some Cardinals with some of our show hosts from later on in the show. Mr. Fresta is starting a food show later today on this wonderful network. We may be talking with him. We may be talking with Tony Patrico about music and what's happening on his show today. Once again, if we're doing that, you can hear it on radio or on 590. You just may not be able to hear it on YouTube unless we're able to take care of that situation this morning somehow, some way. But I don't know if that's going to happen or not. So anyway, we appreciate you guys jumping in with us on the show, and we are moving from that standpoint. I'm a little bummed out because I don't want to get sucked in by the St. Louis Cardinals. I don't want to get sucked in and start to become a believer. I don't want to get sucked in and go, oh, just because expectations were bad and we've got a team that's what 6, 7 games over 500. Oh, this is a good team now all of a sudden. I don't want to do that. Good teams don't blow 7-2 leads. Good teams don't lose to a rival at home when you're up 7-2. Good teams don't give up the amount of runs that I mean, what they gave up 6 runs in an inning. I mean, you stop the bleeding. I know stuff can happen over a 162 game season, but still, that was sickening watching what the Cardinals did last night. And and I don't want to get sucked in and get hurt. I'd rather feel the Cardinals suck. I'd rather say the Cardinals suck or they're going to suck and feel good about it or just feel like, okay, it is what it is, than to get my hopes up and then get crushed. So Cardinals have 2 games left with the Royals. Let's hope they don't get rained out to make things right and win that series, because you don't lose a series to the Royals. You just don't. Unfortunately, Palante, the Cardinals pitcher last night, he has not looked good in his last few starts. He started off great, or great for the expectations, I should say. But since then, it's been a downhill slide. Not good, especially you scored 10 or 7 runs, you should win a damn baseball game. You should, and they didn't, and I'm frustrated, and that's what happens when it comes to the Cardinals. So, oh well, that's what's up. We'll talk more about the Cardinals coming up later in the show. We appreciate you guys jumping in on the show this morning. Please like, subscribe, share the show, let people know what we've got going on from that standpoint. Updates. Yeah, we were talking about it. Scattered showers throughout the area today. Just get used to it. Temperatures in the 70s, comfortable, but it's not going to be one of those days where you're going to be wanting to sit outside and do things outside. Might be more of an inside day. But we go with the flow from that standpoint. By the way, there's still a lot of people all throughout the St. Louis metro area, specifically North St. Louis, Central West End, some of these areas. But they're still, they have roofs tarped, but the roofs can still leak. People still have a spotty service, damage that people are still trying to clean up from, damage in their house, around the house, in their neighborhoods. It's frustrating. It's absolutely frustrating for these people to go through this. Now there's a petition, if you will, an idea, so to speak. We talked about the Rams money that is still yet to be used, or the greater portion of it, maybe being used for $30 million of it going towards help tornado victims. Is that what Rams money should go to? It's a dire need right now to help a certain amount of people. But I mean, if you go through and tour these damaged areas, which I have, if you go down and help these people do things, which I have, you're like, oh my God, you can't live like this. And the devastation is unbelievable. Should $30 million of the Rams money be going to help our brothers and sisters who of St. Louis need, or should that money be designated for something else? When you look back, I mean, should there be more relief funds coming from a national standpoint? I don't know. It just makes me wonder. I saw that and I went, oh, this bill would direct $30 million of the Rams funds for tornado relief. The president, Megan Green, said the tornado caused $1.6 billion in damage to about 5,000 structures, but recovery would require more than $2 billion. So, it's certainly an idea. And if you say, no, it shouldn't, then obviously you come across as being a cold-hearted snake, especially if, you were somebody who didn't experience or suffer any of the damage. Just putting it up, it is what it is. So,
Well, what would be a better use for that money?
yeah, well, oh my gosh, exactly. I know it goes back and forth. It really does, to try to figure out what should be done, what should we be doing, how should we be using that money? Because, all the rain that continues to come, these people, they have leaks. They do. They have leaks in their homes, and they're trying to do their best, and roofing companies and construction companies and exterior companies are doing the best that they can as well to try to help people. But it is something that happened in St. Louis. It didn't, when destruction happens or a tornado hits, it moves in at the speed of light and moves out. But the damage is left behind, and for weeks to come, months to come, sometimes a year or so before things can try to get somewhat back to normal. And That's what we're starting to see right now. So $30 million being, talked about as being put towards the money. We'll continue to follow that. It's called, something similar to the Impacted Tenants Fund. So they're talking about that right now. $30 million. I guess $30 million would go a long way, but it's still not going to be what they need. So
And I guess this isn't anything FEMA can help with.
well, that's Governor Kehoe is trying to get a disaster relief to funds brought into the St. Louis area. They're still trying to figure out how that's going to work, going back and forth. I just don't know where it is. There's just a lot of money. So anyway, that is just one idea. You wished. It's a tongue twister. It's one of those ones where it's like, oh, I don't know what to say on it. Yes, and I can see reasons for it to be used, and I can see reasons for it to not be used. It hasn't been used in what, 2 years?
Yeah.
Just sitting there.
Yep.
I mean, gosh, after I walk through these neighborhoods, I would say they could use some of that for that.
Well,
But
without a doubt.
then that money, is that impacting the money that we got? Is it impacting that area? Like, is it a comparison, an equal comparison for why we got the money and what the money could be or should be used for? So anyway, we'll keep you posted on that. We'll be following that story to see if any of that money is pushed forward for the Rams, from the Rams money towards the city of St. Louis because of the tornado that came through and devastated what we saw come through here. Okay, so I saw that. Then, of course, the weather not so great unless you just love to sit in rain. Cardinals lost last night 10-7. Better news in St. Louis. We had a situation where you had soccer last night, and it was awesome to see a soccer game, a Team USA soccer game. I should have brought it up yesterday from a standpoint where they were playing last night. Energizer Park. Last night, the U.S. women's national soccer team beat the Jamaican team 4-2. That was good. The U.S. was originally slated to play a second match against China, but the Chinese Football Association said the women's team could only play their first match, so they had to go back. The women's team won 4-2. They looked fantastic. But Becky Sauerbrunn from Ladue, who's been a mainstay leader on that team for a while, was honored before the game. Just a terrific all-around person, trying to help out in the community, trying to help soccer. Nice to see Becky Sauerbrunn get honored before the game in her hometown, and the women's U.S. national team. They're off to a good start. They've lost a couple games, which might have surprised some people, but they're still trying to put together who they are, what they are as they move forward when it comes to their soccer team. But the United States always seems to get it together somehow, some way. By the way, you can watch us on YouTube right now at Arch City Now. Also, Lou Info. You can watch us at Lou Info on YouTube, Arch City Now. Join our conversation on YouTube. We'd like to talk with people throughout the day. We are grateful for that as well. You can also jump in on Arch City Now on X and watch the show and what we have going on from today. If you guys have ideas, if there's stories, if there's things you want to talk about, mentions you want to give out, shout outs you want to give out, you can do that as well. And of course, you have your platform to do so. And of course, we don't talk about it a lot. We don't really need to talk about it because people know that we're also on 590 AM if you want to do that. We are working on technical things coming up in the next few days where we'll be able to have guests where you can hear them on all of our platforms. That is the ultimate goal. We look forward to that as well. That will include all of our social medias as well, because I was getting lots of questions and people asking, oh, are you going to be here? Are you going to be there? Yeah, we'll continue to do that. We're a work in progress as we do that every single day. We're grateful for you guys listening and being patient with us. We start out talking sports a little bit today. Also coming up tonight, Game 1, NHL Stanley Cup Finals, Edmonton hosting Florida, rematch of last year. Florida playing their third straight Stanley Cup Finals. They've played more games in the last 3 years than anyone ever in the NHL. That's how many games they've played in a 3-year stretch. Matthew Tkachuk, the St. Louis, and also um, leading Florida. We'll say Edmonton is the favorite for that series, but I wouldn't put anything past Florida, considering the fact that they won last year's matchup between the two, and they have a damn good team from that standpoint. Um, Also, when it comes to sports, the Battle Hawks, once again, get your tickets. They've opened up more seating. Go support the Battlehawks Sunday at 5 p.m. as they battle to go play in a championship game. Would love to see them do that. Bring another title back to the city of St. Louis. Love to see that as well. Also, when it comes to sports, it's something we'll do after the break. Are we getting ready to hit a break too, Joe?
I was just going to say 1 minute to break.
Okay, thank you. When we come back, you go to sports bars, right? Men are allowed, women are allowed in sports bars. Um, there's a new bar coming to St. Louis that's only for women. Only for women. A sports bar, or at least geared for women. And when we come back from the break, we will talk about that as well. Also, a reminder for everybody, too, that you can also listen to the audio stream, and you can hear everything at luinfo.com. Listen live from that standpoint. You can also listen to the audio stream, and you will hear everything at luinfo.com. All right, this is Arch City Now. I'm Vic Faust, Projo alongside, making sure we look and sound as good as we possibly can. We'll take our first break. We'll be back right after this and break down this new all sports bar just for women and your thoughts from that standpoint coming up right after the break. Hey, let's get ready to play Arch City now. Vic Faust, Projo in the house, 6:23 is our time. It is June 4th in the city of St. Louis, ready to rock and roll with Arch City now. Once again, if you're not watching yet, like, subscribe, share the show, let people know what we have going on. This morning, you can watch us at Arch City Now on YouTube, at Lou Info, and of course, on X at Arch City Now as well. Projo alongside Vic Faust here. If you guys have stories, jump in on the YouTube chat line. That gives us a chance to talk to you about things that are happening in your community. What's St. Louis talking about? There is no right answer, no wrong answer. There are just things that might apply. And we're grateful for you guys being a part of it with us today from that standpoint. We're going to the break talking about sports bars. People have different sports bars for different reasons. People like to, I guess, go to certain places for different reasons. Well, there is a new sports bar opening up, and there's a lot of really good sports bars. Lots of them. Lots of sports bars. What makes a good sports bar? Lots of TVs. Maybe there's a certain food. I mean, depending upon your drink, whether you're drinking alcohol or not, most bars have the same things. Most do, unless you want your specific kind of beer or you want a preppy type of beer. Then you go and do that. You go to that place for a sports bar. Well, there is a brand new sports bar coming to the St. Louis area soon. It is a sports bar dedicated to women's sports. It's an all women's sports bar. Projo snickers a little bit.
Hey.
It will be opening at its door soon. The name of the new women's sports bar, I like the name, the Sports Bra. Hey, bra. What's up, bra? What's up, bra? The Sports Bra. It's expanding locations across the country. It opened in Portland back in 2022. Its founder, Ginny Wen, says the bar's mission is to foster more visibility for women's sports. Hey, I'd like that. They said that each location is going to carry the same heart and mission as the original one in Portland, uplifting women-owned businesses. We're serving delicious food and creating a space for everyone. Okay, there is a place for everyone, and I'm all for everyone having their own spot. Of course, this bar says that they'll have their signature cocktails. They'll specialize in signature cocktails, beers, and cider that were crafted by Freeland Spirits, a women-owned distillery. They'll have their cider. I've gotten made fun of for liking cider beer. Have you ever had cider beer?
I have.
And it's a change of pace.
Yeah, it tastes like beer and apples.
Apple juice.
Yeah.
The food, the bar's food. This is the only thing. I could never go into a bar like this and eat. Here's why. I'm not a vegan. I'm not a vegetarian. I don't have to eat gluten-free or dairy-free. That is the menu at the new Sports Bra for women, for a sports bar that's going to be coming to the St. Louis area soon. They focus and cater to vegans, vegetarians, people who have to go gluten-free or dairy-free. So they're going to expand to all cities like Boston, Indianapolis, Vegas, and St. Louisans are going to have the opportunity as well. We'll keep you posted. We'll let you know when the Sports Bra is officially coming to St. Louis, but it's dedicated 100% to women's sports, the Sports Bra.
I think it's a great idea, and I'm not trying to bash it or anything, but can men call it not shots?
Not shots? Hey, why not? Why not? We'll rock and roll. Okay, fantastic. So we'll do that. By the way, coming up at 6:40, we'll talk. This show has a lot of different aspects, which I absolutely love. And coming up in the next segment at about 6:40, we're going to talk with Tony Patrico. He, of course, was the Rizzuto Show for 9 years. He's got a brand new show on this podcast network that we're doing as well, talking music. The Sounds of St. Louis, Mondays and Wednesdays, 3 to 4 p.m. I think I'll just go get a coffee and you and Tony can talk music.
Yeah.
I love music as well. I know you know Tony, and look forward to talking to him appreciate that. That we got that set up. So the sports bra, which we were just talking about, yeah, if that's for you, fantastic. If it's not, you don't have to go. And of course, we'll keep you posted, let you know when we know more about that. Okay, this is Arch City now. You can watch us on X and YouTube at Arch City, as we were just talking about. For those just joining the show, as we talked about, Cardinals lost last night 7-2. They still have 8 games left pending weather. From that standpoint, 10-7. They lost. They're now 5 games out of first place. So the Cubs just continue to streak. They're fast. They're one of the best teams in Major League Baseball. And I hate to have to talk about the Cubs being good, but they are. They just are. They put the pieces in place. They put the manager in place. They spent the money, and they look good. They look very good. Cardinals, got off to a bad start, had a great May, and we're just hoping that June can start off better. They've lost a couple in a row. They're 6-4 in their last 10. Okay, there we go. Hopefully, they'll be able to get some of these games in against the Royals over the next 2 days. Dodgers doesn't get any easier. We'll be following that up for 3 games afterwards. So, wonderful. Can't wait for that. Okay. Another interesting thing that I saw that came down, if you didn't see this yesterday, and I know this goes back for 10 years, and we're talking about things from St. Louis, and we listen to you guys. You guys tell us what you want to talk about. What are people talking about in the St. Louis area? What are the headlines that are happening these days? The Pam Hupp story was so big going back 10 years. Major motion pictures made about Pam Hupp and the murders involved around it. Well, yesterday we found out the lead investigator back at that time, Michael Merker, who is now, we're finding out, is facing 2 counts of felony charges for perjury in the murder trial. It just, that the story just never goes away. It's always there. Just another just interesting, just bizarre turning of events of what happened, what can happen. You can't write this stuff in Hollywood, and then it happens and it becomes a Hollywood picture. There's documentaries that go on, and of course, from the news standpoint, just covered over and over and over again. But felony charges came down for him, which was just very, 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 very. Every time I see that, it's just sad seeing some of those things that have happened, and just this everything that went down. Everything. It wasn't a great story for St. Louis, Lincoln County, any of that, but it is what it is. Hey, we're getting ready to talk music at 6:40. And I did see this. You know what else St. Louis going on in St. Louis tonight? Remember the Super Bowl, Kendrick Lamar. Remember all the hype about Kendrick Lamar at the Super Bowl?
Yep.
They're not like us. He's in St. Louis tonight. Kendrick Lamar's in St. Louis. Why do I know? Well, my son's going to be there. He's co-headlining the Grand National Tour in St. Louis. Should be if you're into that, should be a terrific event. The Grand National Tour, co-headlining with SZA. Are you familiar with SZA?
Never heard of him.
SZA. Well, it's a female.
Oh, okay. Her. Sorry.
I didn't know if you said him or them.
I did say him.
SZA, SZA, SZA. As my son told me, she was actually born in St. Louis and then moved to, and he goes, Dad, then she moved to Maplewood. I was like, Maplewood, St. Louis? No, Maplewood, New Jersey, Dad. And I'm like, okay, I got it. Maplewood, New Jersey. So SZA will be there, and then somebody named Mustard will be opening up for them. So they'll be there tonight. I believe that's at Enterprise. But Kendrick Lamar was super damn popular, super popular, and very talented, will be in town. So that'll be a big thing going on downtown. The Cardinals supposed to be playing a baseball game tonight, and of course, we'll see where all that goes. By the way, I wanted to get this out there as well. If anybody wants to jump in on the show, you can do so via YouTube at Arch City Now, at Lou Info as well. And of course, you can check out our website at louinfo.com. Once again, louinfo.com. And then coming up from 8 to 10 a.m. today, of course, we have Hot Take Central 2.0 with Jim Hayes and Cam Jansen. That show is off to a great start as well. And of course, we will be talking with Tony Patrico from his show. He'll be doing his first show on Music Today. Our second show, I think it was, what did I say? Mondays and Wednesdays? Yeah, he's on Mondays and Wednesdays from 3 to 4 p.m. to give people an idea of what's happening in the music scene from the St. Louis metropolitan area as we continue to do all things St. Louis on the Lou Information Station, live and on demand at louinfo.com. The tornado coverage, the money that we were just talking about. Mike Kehoe, the governor, and this is a big talk about story in St. Louis because lots of people are trying to help out when it came to this tornado. Lots of people are talking about it. Lots of people are trying to help out, wondering, is that area ever going to get cleaned up? The Central West End, North City, places all in that area, not too far from the Chase, not too far from BJC Hospital. Landmarks and very popular places, and you go a couple blocks away and it looks like literally a bomb went off. Kehoe requested federal emergency declarations for the state of Missouri after those May 16th tornadoes. And then, of course, last week, the governor of Missouri asked President Trump to approve a federal disaster declaration, but neither have been approved yet. What would it take to get that? What does it mean? Does it have to be something that's at a certain standpoint? Our mayor's, Kara Spencer, said no city is equipped to deal with a disaster the size of this tornado, period. And we need FEMA. We need FEMA's help. That's what she said. She said they're not getting a response. And not to get into political things when it comes to FEMA, FEMA was, they were supposed to be helping in North Carolina when the floods came. And of course, there were some issues on help being brought. So is FEMA going to be able to help? Are they going to be able to do something in St. Louis from that standpoint? I do know that FEMA representatives have been in St. Louis. I was told that they're here as part of a joint preliminary damage asset teams. I guess they have to go through that from that standpoint. It's not helping the people of St. Louis right now. And for those people who don't have insurance, if there's a major disaster declaration that is approved, then FEMA can come in and provide some additional assistance for them. That's how that could work, along with, some other voluntary organizations, state partners, and federal partners. Those things can happen as well. So we're still waiting to see if the governor's office gets some good news, gets any sort of, money, any sort of support as we see coming in from the government, from FEMA, because we know that St. Louis is dealing with that right now. Not a very good thing to deal with. Not anything that anybody wants to deal with as well, because if your house is destroyed, there's not a whole lot you can do. But those are some of the things that are happening in St. Louis right now. From a music standpoint, we told you we got Tony Patrico coming up after our break in just a few minutes. Kendrick Lamar in town tonight. Not sure if that's a sold-out show. If anybody knows, let me know. I would assume that it's a sold-out show. I would have to assume, just because following the Super Bowl, he's got to be one of the most popular entertainers going right now. Has to be. I mean, everybody knows the name Kendrick Lamar after the Super Bowl. And that's another reason why so many people do it. They'll go and do it. They don't get paid to do the Super Bowl performances because they know they're going to get a lot of hype when they do that. So we'll certainly keep you posted. I'll give you the update for my son tomorrow on how that worked out in the show, what's going to happen tonight. But we're following what we can. And of course, we'll talk music in just a couple minutes from there. If you have story ideas, if there's something that you want to talk about when it comes to the city of St. Louis, we ask you to do that. Let us know. You can also email us at archcitynow@gmail.com. That email is up and running, right, Projo?
It is.
Archcity, that is archcitynow@gmail.com. archcitynow@gmail.com. Just let us know if something's going on in your neck of the woods. We'll help out however we can, and of course, talk from that standpoint. We also told you that you have things coming up 8 to 10 today. You have Hot Take Central 2.0, Jim Hayes, Cam Jansen, bringing you the latest when it comes to sports and other issues as well. I guarantee the sports community of St. Louis is not very happy with what we've already talked about, watching the Cardinals lose like they lost last night, but sometimes that stuff happens and guys fall on their tails. And that's exactly what they did last night, unfortunately. Hated to see it, but it is what it is. And of course, Cardinals will have to do their best. And maybe they're going to need a new starting pitcher. They may need. I mean, Palante is in a rut, and we knew that we were going to see what could possibly happen. And then, of course, now they're starting to follow it away. He gave up 7 runs last night. He gave up. He was at least tagged with 7 runs in that game. Not what we want. Okay. Also, something else. Well, I'll get into it a little bit later. Maybe I'll just give it. It's a news headline. We like to get in our news headlines in the 6 o'clock hour. Um, just another sad story. I knew a kid who really got messed up, broke his shoulder, broke an arm, broke a leg from an ATV accident, but at least he's alive. There was a 13-year-old reported fatality in Lincoln County yesterday, killed riding an ATV. It's just sad. I mean, the first thing I think about is like, oh my gosh, what the heck happened? And then I start thinking about the family and what the family is going through and the friends are going through when you lose somebody, period. Then it's a 13-year-old and then it's an ATV, or excuse me, a UTV, not an ATV, a UTV crash, a UTV crash. Um, just sad all the way around. And it's not anything that we need to continue to talk about unless you guys want to, but um, you know, I've watched my kids do some crazy wild things. Yeah, and you try to watch them, you try to stop. You don't know all the details for what happened, but anytime you're involved with an ATV, a UTV, anything from that standpoint, it's just my heart skips a beat. I mean, parents watching kids start to drive their car as well. That's a different thing, but it gives you that idea that maybe I need to look at this, or how can I do something? Is there any way to do something better? I don't know. I don't know. So anyway, Joe, how are we doing on time wise with breaks?
Well, you can go now.
Oh, well, okay.
I would say we were at 1 minute and you were talking.
Oh,
I gave you the signal.
Oh, okay. I didn't see the signal. Guys, this is Arch City Now with Vic Faust. That's Pro Joe, the voice you hear in the background, our producer from that standpoint. You can watch us on YouTube at Arch City Now and Lou Info. And of course, we're on X at Arch City Now as well. Join the show. Like, subscribe, share the show. Let people know. We'll be back with Tony Patrico right after this to talk about his new show here on this wonderful network. Hey guys, welcome back to the show. Good morning. It is June 4th. 6:44 is our time in St. Louis, a wet, dreary weather type of day. If you love that kind of weather, hey, more power to you. You're loving life. Like sleeping through it, that's for sure. That's fantastic. However, it's going to be one of those days, scattered showers throughout the day. Much of it a little bit to the north of St. Louis, but the stronger stuff. But the possibility of rain here, not only all throughout today and tonight, but damn, for the rest of the week, it is what it is. That's what happens. We've been dealing with a lot of rain this spring. So be it. Sunnier days will be ahead. Glad you're with us today. This is Arch City Now. I'm Vic Faust, Pro Joe alongside behind the scenes. You hear his voice. You can watch us on X at Arch City Now, and of course at YouTube, Arch City Now and Lou Info. We are the Lou Information Station, live and on demand at louinfo.com. Coming up, we'll give you an idea of some of the things that are on tap for the podcast network today. Right now, we are joined by Tony Patrico, well known throughout the St. Louis area. You've got a brand new show called Sounds of STL. Tony, thanks for jumping in on the show today. How'd your first show go, and what can people expect today? Yeah. It can be. I get it, man. Gee, I don't think Projo and I know what you're talking about.
I live it every day.
Yeah, and if you have a desire and a want and a passion, you should. And that's what you're doing now. Once again, talking with Tony Patrico. The name of the show is Sounds of STL. It's on Mondays and Wednesdays from 3 p.m. to 4 p.m. And we'd also like to remind people, too, if by chance you couldn't hear watching on YouTube this morning until we take care of some of those issues, you can also listen to the audio stream and you can hear everything. That's at louinfo.com. Once again, louinfo.com. All right, you hear the name Sounds of STL. What is the specific focus? What will people see? What did you come out of the gate talking about? And of course, what can people expect to see today and hear you talk about? Where do you see St. Louis and the music scene right now? And then not only where you see it now, maybe compared to where it was maybe 20 years ago. Couldn't agree with you anymore. Man, I hope so. You get me excited. The energy's there, that's for sure. I'm ready. Like, hey, who's our next band? Where are we going? It's funny you brought up Kendrick Lamar because last night I found out I was like, what are you doing tomorrow night? My son's like, oh, I'm going to Kendrick Lamar. I'm like, what? I was like, I didn't even know Kendrick was in town. I felt stupid. And that's what your show is about, educating people what's happening, entertaining them Mondays and Fridays, 3 to 4 o'clock. I said, who's with him? He said, SZA. I'm like, how do you spell that? And he goes, SZA. And I went, okay. I was like, who's opening up? And he goes, Mustard. And I went, I'd never heard of Mustard. I had heard of SZA. And of course, I bought Kendrick Lamar. By the way, Pro Joe, I think you said, did you see there's still tickets available for that show tonight?
Yeah, multiple sources say that there's still tickets available.
And did you say it's at the Dome, Tony? Okay, I was assuming Enterprise, but it's at the Dome. Okay. The, is the Dome hosting mini concerts? Damn. Yeah. Yeah, that's why I was assuming. I thought that I was like, oh, there's still tickets available if it's at Enterprise, but if it's at the Dome, clearly putting a lot more people in there. Yeah, yeah, no, it's huge. Hey, what are you talking about? What are you previewing to? You just don't what? I want to be a wannabe. I mean, I got a kid that's going. I wish I could go and actually be something cool. What are you doing today on the show, man? What do you got? What can you promote? What you got going on? What people can expect to see?
I got a quick question because it's close to my heart. Will you be covering any local music?
Mhm.
That is awesome.
Yeah, I love it, Projo. I know it's near and dear to your heart as well. Tony Patrico. So it's great to talk to you. It's great to hear your voice. It's great to hear your passion, doing exactly what you should be doing. From that standpoint, is there a band that you can talk about specifically, really quick, that you see as an up and coming band from the St. Louis area, or they're just too many? Don't worry. Okay.
Oh yeah, yeah.
Real quick too, before we let you go, Tony, I appreciate the time. Is it true that Dr. Chevegas is calling it quits now, finally? Wow. All right. Okay. I guess we get the idea from that standpoint. Tony Patrico, Sounds of STL, coming up today from 3 to 4. You can hear him on Mondays from 3 to 4 as well. And by the way, if you ever want to get up at 6 a.m. and head down to Chesterfield at our studio, you're more than welcome to come join us,
Come
my
hang
friend.
out, man.
Please come on in, my friend. We love it. Appreciate Tony. Hey, great to hear your voice. Thank you so much for taking time with us today. Congratulations on the new show. Love the energy, love the enthusiasm, love the content from that standpoint, promoting something that we love about St. Louis. Hey, buddy, best of luck. All right, Tony Patrico show today from 3 to 4 right here on the Lou Information Station, live and on demand at louinfo.com. Once again, good to catch up with Tony. I know Joe's excited about that. How are we doing on our time for our next break, my
I
friend?
was just trying to give you the.
Yeah, sorry, I got it. Yeah, you're
We
so
got to figure
patient.
out. Yeah,
I
we got to
suck at
figure it
that.
out.
I suck at that. You need something to throw at me. Guys, we appreciate it. You're watching Arch City now. I'm Vic Faust. We'll explain why you couldn't hear him in just a second. Also, from that standpoint, We'll explain some of the things that are going to be happening on this show coming up. We'll give you the lineup for today. We'll recap some of the 6 o'clock hour. And anything else you guys want to talk about, let us know. Jump in on YouTube at Arch City Now as well. Also at Lou Info. We'll be back with more right after this. Hey guys, welcome back into the show. It is 7:04 on a rainy, kind of dreary St. Louis morning, but we're live and in action here, live and on demand at louinfo.com. Check out the new website with what's happening with the show, the Lou Information Station. I'm Vic Faust, Pro Joe alongside with me for Arch City Now. I was joking with Tony, but being serious about him getting down to studio. We've joked as well with our audience. I would love a co-host if we could figure this out somehow, some way.
Absolutely.
At this hour of the morning, too. You know, I've always worked, love it, love working with other people. If you guys have ideas, let us know. Keep posted with us as well from that standpoint. I forgot to tell you, I did run into somebody at the gas station who would like to come in, fill in every time. We'll have to talk to the big boss man, Dave, about that to see what's happening from that standpoint.
Yeah,
But
you
once
never
again,
did tell me about that. Yeah.
yeah, but once again, thanks for Tony Patrico joining us to talk about music. Sounds of STL Mondays and Wednesdays from 3 to 4 o'clock. Everything music related, St. Louis, both the local and national scene, got a lot out of that as well. I know you used to do a show called Audio Inc. with music.
Yep.
You had guys in too. I
Yeah.
know the Urge, the guy from the Urge. I know you claim he's a friend of yours. I don't think he is. I think you want to try to
I
act like
have
you're
no
cool and
friends.
stuff.
Yeah, we have the lead singer Gravity Kills in as well, and many others. Yeah, a few people I'd like to mention is Inimical Drive and the 45 that are local bands that I'm fond of.
Oh, there's Pro Joe getting things done from that standpoint, buddy. So Tony came in, did a really good job. Man, he's a pro. It's good to hear him. Love his energy, loves his passion for music. I did hear that somebody said, "Yeah, Vegas is done." And they've had a long run. I wouldn't be surprised if the end was there. I wouldn't be. But hey, if you can make money and people are just going to pay you a lot of money,
Right.
why would you give it up?
Exactly.
Why would you give it up? You wouldn't. This is Arch City Now. You can watch us on X at Arch City Now. Love your comments. Love when you guys jump involved with the show as well. You can watch us on YouTube, Arch City Now, and at Lou Info as well. Other platforms are coming. We talk about that when it comes to the social media standpoint. Instagram, Facebook, TikTok. Those platforms will be coming. Maybe Rumble, but obviously we have YouTube, and we love it when you guys go there. And we love it. Of course, you're listening on the radio side at 590. Lots of places. Just want to get to everybody because this is about St. Louis. Everything we're doing is about St. Louis. What's going on? What should we talk about? How can we have fun together? This is your station. It's not for us. It's for you guys. We're here. We get up early. We kick off this day of programming from the St. Louis standpoint at 6 to 8 a.m. every day. We love it. We want your interaction. What can we be talking about? What's new? What's happening? What's good? What's bad? All the gamuts, the emotions that run through a city. Because we love St. Louis. This is all about St. Louis. Nothing like this has been done, and that's why we were the first to do it, and that's why we love what we're doing with this show. Wanted to explain something with Tony Patrico. People are like, Vic. We see and hear you guys talking, but we couldn't hear Tony. It's some of the technical things that are happening right now. We will get this solved. You can always listen to our streaming service right now at luinfo.com, where you can hear everything that's happening. However, from our standpoint, when we have a guest right now, you can't hear the guest on our social media platforms, right? That's the
Correct,
standpoint, Joe.
yeah.
We're going to take care of that. But you can hear it at luinfo.com, luinfo.com. We will get that taken care of. We're 3 days in, not even finished with the third show yet. We just agreed to get this done on Friday. It's going to happen. And we'll be kicking ass and rolling from that standpoint.
And I know how much everybody loves commercials, but you'll be able to hear those in the breaks as well. Right now, nobody can hear the commercials.
Okay. Yeah, that's kind of a big deal. We'll get that taken care of as well. We're just glad that we're on air trying to produce content for you guys. And we'll see. Wonderful. Okay. Another thing coming up with the lineup for today. We're here from 6 to 8 every day. Now the shows will change at some of the hours, but in the mornings from 6 to 10, you've got us from 6 to 8. And then you've got Hot Take Central 2.0 from 8 to 10 a.m. That, of course, with Jim Hayes and Cam Jansen. Today's lineup, we told you, besides that show coming up at 10 o'clock, it's the Dinner Rush with Joe Fresta. Everything food from St. Louis from that standpoint. Pro Joe, you may get excited. People may not know, but Pro Joe, you were training to be a culinary chef at one point in time.
Yeah, I went to culinary
We're
school.
we're gonna have to put a camera on you, dude.
Yeah.
I'm sorry. We're gonna have to put a
I
camera.
actually can solve that right
Yeah,
there.
I know you got your hat on today. There's Pro
Yeah.
Joe. And I always love you're a culinary chef. You know more about
Well,
if anybody has questions when it comes to food, health, what's in your food, this is the man.
nutrition.
How much weight did you lose?
I was close to 500 pounds. Now I'm right at 300. So I've lost about 200 pounds.
You don't look 300 pounds to me. That's a damn good. I've never
I'm
thought
6'3" as well.
you're a damn good 300 pounds, my
Thanks, man.
friend.
Appreciate that.
So you lost a whole real big person.
Yeah, absolutely.
And
a whole adult.
Yeah, I eat lemons because of Joe now. So
Yeah. They'll keep you healthy.
Yeah, they try to. We try. Joe tries. We try. So jump in the show if you guys have anything about St. Louis. Let us know what you want to talk about. Also coming up on the show. So you got the Dinner Rush with Joe Fresta from 10 to 11. Then from 11 to 1, it's the Charlie Tuna and Tom Wiley show. And then from 1 to 3, they really come out of the gate pretty damn well. Next Gen STL. I work with Grant Salzman on Mondays with the Mizzou show. That's just on Mondays from 10 to 11. And Will Bratton. I mean, these are some younger guys that really, really, really just killed it when it came to their first shows. And of course, from 3 to 4, we were just talking about it. The Sounds of STL with Tony Patrico. And then from 4 to 6, In Your City with our friends Kelly Lamb and Gordon Montgomery. And then, of course, from 6 to 9, it's the Dave Ramsey Show. So that gives you an idea of what's coming up today. We say good morning to people who have been jumping in on the show. Robert, Tanya, Ben, we appreciate you guys. John, thank you for jumping in. Thank you for liking, subscribing, sharing the show to make sure that we get out to as many people as we possibly can. As we figure out and we talk and get context, we're coming up with the St. Louis headlines. We're trying to get our tentacles all over the St. Louis metropolitan area, but we really do need help. It's interesting to see what kind of things are happening in our communities, what people are doing, what people are saying, how people are reacting. It is interesting because I look at Ben. I see a guy on there, Ben Kahn. That guy owns a bar restaurant in the St. Louis area. It's Chesterfield, Wenty's. He moved from New York, and he's like, "There's no other place I'd rather live." He said, I want to live in St. Louis. He's like, I love it here. And there's many times where I'm from this area, and it's like, well, I get frustrated with certain things about St. Louis, and it could be warmer here at certain times. It could be cooler here at certain times. But then I think back and it's like, well, the grass isn't always greener somewhere else. And Ben reminds me of that. So Ben, I appreciate you jumping in. Yes, full disclosure, I do know who Ben is, and thank you guys. Thank you for supporting everything that we have going on. Okay. Headlines that we had from last night as we start this new hour. We do have news, weather, sports headlines coming up on these networks, on the shows. Those are going to be coming where we don't do those as much unless we just try to jump in and focus on certain things. But last night, St. Louis Cardinals, yeah, what a bummer. The teams, we started off the year as we thought they would be, not very good. Oh, then we're going to have a 19-8 month of May. Yeah, maybe the Cardinals could be a playoff team. Yeah, they're a fun team to watch. Yeah, they can be fun offensively, but last night you're up 7-2. You give up 8 unanswered runs and you lose 10-7. That's not going to do it. And then they lose to the Kansas City Royals. Not a very good thing. Not a lot of happiness for me from that standpoint. And you give up 6 runs in a 5th inning. Cardinals lost. They're now 5 games behind the Cubs. Cubs continue to win, one of the hottest teams in Major League Baseball. They're 8-2 in their last 10. The Cardinals 6-4 in their last 10. And Andre Palante, the starter, not great last night. He's had some outings now. He's putting some outings together that have not looked so great. Almost looks like he's running out of gas. I have no idea what's going on. Cardinals lost. They still have 8 games left on this homestand. However, we'll see what weather has to say about that, because all you have to do is look outside right now and see that the weather has not been so fantastic, and the forecast doesn't look so great for the rest of the week. Scattered showers throughout the area. We'll focus on today, scattered showers all around the area. Some of the headlines that we were talking about from sports standpoint: Becky Sauerbrunn, the St. Louis soccer star from Ladue, honored before last night's women's national team game in St. Louis at Energize Park. They won 4-2 over the Jamaican team. Congrats to Becky. Love what she's doing throughout the St. Louis area. Back here, taking care of business, coaching young women, helping women. Love to see Becky get the honor that she should. A mainstay with the U.S. national team for so long. And, of course, they provided the fans with a 4-2 win last night. Battlehawks, don't forget about it, coming up Sunday at 5 p.m. down at the Dome. They've got it going on. They play the DC Defenders. Winner plays in the championship, which, by the way, will be played in St. Louis as well. We need to get another championship. Just get a championship here. It's not the Rams. Get a football championship so we can talk about St. Louis. Rock the Dome again. More seats are being opened up because, yes, you St. Louis sold out the tickets that were available at first. Absolutely love what's happening in the St. Louis area. Also, NHL Stanley Cup begins tonight. That's right. Matthew Tkachuk and his Florida Panthers go to Edmonton to take on Connor McDavid and the Edmonton Oilers. Oilers a favorite in that series. We'll have to see where all that goes. I am rooting for the Florida Panthers because I like Tkachuk. I like the Kachuk family. They're a St. Louis family as well. And I just like the style of hockey Florida plays. I do. Okay. I like it. Edmonton's super skilled, and Edmonton lost last year. So that's going on tonight. A little bit of a St. Louis flair there as well. Okay. Other headlines making news that we were talking about with Tony. Tonight, you've got the Kendrick Lamar in town. Would that, now, Joe, you're a music guy.
Mm-hmm.
If somebody said, "Hey, I got tickets to Kendrick Lamar," would you go?
I'd be interested. I don't necessarily. Yeah, I mean, yeah, I'd go.
You would. You know what?
Sure.
I'd go too. I'm not. I wouldn't necessarily. If somebody said, "Hey, I've got tickets, you want to go?" I probably
Right.
would.
Yeah, I mean, it's interesting to me. It's not exactly my type of music though.
Tony Patrico joined us. He didn't know if it'd be a sellout because you're talking about. He said you could put 60,000 people in there for a show. That's a big deal.
Yeah, a big venue.
Ben says that's a lot of weight to lose. That just popped up.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, it wasn't easy. There was no Ozempic, there was no surgeries, there was nothing involved like that. It was self-discipline.
I like
and
Ozempic.
nutrition.
I'm sorry, I was on it. I told people.
There's nothing wrong with it. It's just that's not the
I need
path
some.
chose.
I need to get back on Ozempic. My appetite came back. Damn! What the hell? I thought I could get off that. Everything would be fine. No. My son's going to that Kendrick Lamar concert tonight, and he's got football practice till 7. Then he's going to switch some clothes. Then he was going to try to drive down there and meet people. And I'm like, so you're by yourself. You're meeting your girlfriend and friends. I'm like parking. You're getting to a concert after it's, I mean, I know the concert technically begins at 7:30, but there's people who don't arrive till later. Mustard, I'd never heard of Mustard, is opening the act tonight. And it's a co-headliner with SZA and Kendrick Lamar. Yeah, Robert says, so are you in the same studio? Yeah, we're still in the same studio right now. A lot of the shows in the J. Randolph Jr. studios as well. It's kind of a combo thing. That's why all the technical aspects of this is still being worked out, and why this whole launch is so cool. So yeah, we're still in the same studio in the Chesterfield Valley. So it goes to show what can be done when it comes to a technical standpoint. It's not easy, but we're trying to make it happen. So what I was saying, Pro Joe, is I told my son, I was like, maybe I take you there and you find a way back, or maybe you Uber back or jump in with somebody else. Because if you're going to a concert downtown and you're not getting there until about 7:40, and then you're trying to find parking, you may be parking. And he's pretty aware. He's 17, but you're a 17-year-old going to the city at like 7:45, and you're trying to get to the Kendrick Lamar concert. Where are you parking in St. Louis? I'm up for any sort of ideas.
There are big parking garages down that way. However, they fill up pretty quick. So you could be walking for a few blocks.
Yeah, that's what I was saying. You
Yeah.
could be walking for a while if you're heading down there. I don't know. So I was like, man, I don't know. Maybe I drop you off. Maybe I pick you up. I don't know. Be like it was before you had a car.
Right. It's the safest way, is just be picked up and dropped off right at the front door.
What do you mean safest way? Is there something I'm not thinking about?
Well, no, I'm just saying that, it cuts down on having to walk for blocks.
I get it. No, I get it. I do. I get it. Hey, by the way, this is Arch City Now. Vic Faust, Pro Joe in the house. You can watch us on YouTube right now, Arch City Now, and at Lou Info, and of course on X at Arch City Now. The other thing is, if you guys have ideas, story things, what people are talking about, let us know. If you have ideas for niche shows, what people should be talking about in St. Louis, we're up for that too. Grateful that you guys are here helping us get everything started, joining us early in the morning. We are the early morning risers, so to speak. Whether we like it or not, that's what we do. We get up. So far, Pro Joe's still coming in. We appreciate you guys being with us and making sure we can do what we possibly can. Oh, yeah, go figure. Now I get it. So the girlfriend just texted me. I love SZA. We should have gotten tickets. Why didn't we get tickets? Well, probably because I had no idea who the hell SZA was until last night when my son told me that SZA was gonna be in town and that SZA was actually born in St. Louis. So I was like, "Oh, damn, you just gave me a headline for the news show tomorrow." SZA, SZA, born in the St. Louis area, by the way, but then moved to Maplewood, New Jersey, for those of you who are just joining the show or didn't know. So uh, Tanya says sharing all over the sites. Appreciate that. Thank you so much. We're going to have all the social medias up and running in the next couple days. It may take a week. We're getting there. We explained it earlier. We had Tony Patrico on the show, and he was explaining his new show that's coming up. Oh, shoot, are we past break?
Yeah. Well, right. Yeah.
Damn.
Sorry.
Okay. Don't go anywhere. Jim Hayes from the 8 o'clock to 10 o'clock show, Hot Take Central 2.0. Terrific personality, terrific show. We'll be back with more right after this. I get talking. Just tell me to shut up.
And anybody at the studio? Okay. Jim Hayes of what? Okay.
Hey guys, welcome back to the show. Vic Faust here, Projo alongside. It is Arch City Now. Glad you're with us. We're here Monday through Friday, 6 to 8 a.m. You can watch us on X at Arch City Now and, of course, on YouTube. Same place, Arch City Now, and, of course, Lou Info. Once again, Lou Info. We are the Lou Information Station, live and on demand at louinfo.com. Once again, this is all about St. Louis. It is about you, and it's not about us. We want your participation in the show. You can jump in with the comments, as people do, to be involved in this show on YouTube. What's happening in your community? What is St. Louis talking about? What's got you going today? What's got you upset, depressed, whatever emotion it may be? This is about St. Louis. St. Louis in and out, St. Louis through and through. And you can't talk about St. Louis without talking about the St. Louis Cardinals and the sports scene. And the show that follows us every day is Hot Take Central 2.0. One of the hosts of that show is Jim Hayes, Jim the Cat Hayes, very popular figure, known throughout his coverage of St. Louis sports, St. Louis Cardinal baseball. And he joins us now on the phone. And I'd like to remind our viewers who may be viewing us or listening to us on the social media channels and or YouTube, you may not be able to hear what he is saying right now, but you can listen at louinfo.com. Once again, louinfo.com. With that being said, we welcome in Jim Hayes of FanDuel Sports Network and Hot Take Central 2.0. Jim, good morning. Are you normally up at this time? Yeah. I know it is nice. I listened to you guys the other day, and I could tell that. I get that feeling, I get that vibe, but at the same point in time, don't sell yourself short. I know Cam. I've met Cam. He's a great personality, but Jim, I love your stuff, and you guys have come out of the gate pretty hard. Before we talk about your show, do you live and die with wins and losses with the Cardinals like a lot of fans do? Yeah. Life is all about expectations, my friend, isn't it? Yeah, I've always under promise, then try to over deliver. That's what the Cardinals were doing. Oh yeah, I get it. 100% talking with Jim Hayes. Jim Hayes, of course, with the FanDuel Sports Network and Hot Take Central 2.0 and the Serving It Up podcast with Matt Holliday, Lance Lynn, and Kyle Gibson. I I love what you have going on with that. How did you put that together? No. Yeah, they do. Do you, do you need the money, Jim? Oh dear God. Oh, I thousands. Hey, I'm curious. Can you go anywhere throughout the St. Louis metro area and not be recognized anymore? And I know you do what you do because you love it and you love talking with people and you love interacting and meeting the people of St. Louis. But is there a shot that you go places and people are like, I don't know who that is? Yeah, you are. Mm. No, a great point. Obviously, great point. Talking with Jim Hayes here. Jim, can you please tell us a little bit about Hot Take Central 2.0? I know the show's all about the wonderful Cam Jansen, but besides Cam, what else can people expect to hear from you guys from 8 to 10 every morning on this network before you crashed it? Yeah, yeah, you said you crashed it, right? Mhm. Mhm. Hey, Jim, before we let you go, when you were looking at insurance for your son, because you said how expensive it is for a 16-year-old boy to get insurance, been down that road, not once, twice. Did you look at or did they offer you the device that you could put on the car from the insurance company that would monitor his driving and to get a huge savings? Oh, I just ruined your son. Yes, it does exist. Uh, yep. Oh, okay. Well, Jim, Jim Hayes, we appreciate you joining us this morning, my friend. FanDuel Sports Network, Hot Take Central 2.0 with Cam Jansen, and the Serving It Up podcast with Matt Holliday, Lance Lynn, and Kyle Gibson. I appreciate it. I owe you. Look forward to catching up with you. And who knows? Get you a drink, get you food, something. Thanks for taking the time with us, my friend. All right, you got it. Jim Hayes, have a great show. You can catch him coming up at 8 a.m. I love getting Jim on there, Pro Joe. And I'm sure you remember what it was with insurance when it came to your son.
Oh yeah.
And it's only gotten worse. It's St. Louis, and we talk about St. Louis here, just part of it. Insurance rates in the St. Louis area are absolutely higher in this area. And it's for a variety of reasons. It's for car thefts, it's for accidents, those things happen. And then you add the boy to the mix. You're damned if you do, you're damned if you don't. You're caught between a rock and a hard place. Every saying that you want to say when it comes to paying freaking money for insurance, especially for boys. But Jim the Cat Hayes, FanDuel Sports Network, love seeing him broadcast Cardinal baseball. Also, Hot Take Central 2.0 and Serving It Up podcast. I love that podcast with Matt Holliday, Lance Lynn, and Kyle Gibson. I was watching it. He says they're not making any money. Yeah, we wonder. There's some great podcasts out there. If there's one that should or could or would, it would definitely be that podcast. Check it out if you can. Look it up. I think you'll be entertained. Give it a shot, and you'll go from there. So they're coming up at 8 o'clock. We appreciate him taking some time with us. Today on our show here on Arch City Now, I'm Vic Faust, Pro Joe alongside. Wanted to explain to you guys as well. We've been saying it throughout the day because I know we have people who come in, some people go out. So not everybody's here. From the start at 6 a.m. to the finish at 8 a.m., you couldn't hear him on the socials. That includes YouTube. That technical is being worked out as we speak. We will have that back, which is why we told you could also listen at luinfo.com. luinfo.com. Once again, luinfo.com. You can click in, listen live until we get that up and running when we have our guest, so you can hear them on YouTube. And we're going to have tons of guests coming up on this show in the days ahead, the weeks ahead, because this show will be a lot of guest centric, getting people up, interrupting their mornings, frustrating their lives, forcing them to get up and talk to us and talk to St. Louis. Of course, you can watch us at Arch City Now on X and Arch City Now on YouTube and Lou Info on YouTube as well. Checking in on the chat line. Of course, we love it when you guys do go to YouTube. You can join us and talk to us there. Greg says our 22-year-old still is on our policy because it's so expensive for him alone. A 22-year-old guy in the St. Louis area because it's so damn expensive. And it is. It is. Anybody that's a man that's gone for insurance on their vehicle knows exactly what we're talking about. It is insane. But of course, it is what it is. It's not changing anytime soon. I mean, you can go drive without insurance. I mean, if you want to take that risk, go ahead. That's up to you. But it is damn expensive. And if you guys have any other ideas of what's happening in the St. Louis area when it comes to a sports standpoint, let us know. When it comes to a news standpoint, let us know what's happening in your communities. These are the things that we want to do. Check in, just talk to us. We get bored sometimes in the morning. We like friends. Joe likes friends. Joe needs help. Joe wants to talk to people and see people.
Friends.
But we're continuing to do what we got going on here Monday through Friday. We may be able to figure that issue today. We'll see. We'll see about getting guests in. By the way, yesterday we had politician Bill Aguilon talking about that Missouri situation that's going on. Missouri Governor Mike Kehoe opened up a special session when it comes to $1.5 billion to put together new stadium proposals for the Royals and the Chiefs to stay in Kansas City, Missouri, not move into Kansas City, Kansas. I talked to some political people yesterday, and they're not so sure that they're going to stay in Missouri, that they may take that offer to move into Kansas. Is it that big of a deal for the fans? Probably not. It's more of a big deal, according to the governor of the state of Missouri, because of the alleged amount of money, the economic impact, and the jobs that would be lost for the state of Missouri. So we'll continue to follow that. That was just an update that I did see come through. If you're just joining us, we were also talking about Kendrick Lamar concert tonight. Still tickets available down at the Dome in St. Louis, co-headlining with SZA, called the Grand National Tour. Mustard's opening up. Also, United States women's soccer team last night, 4-2 winners over Jamaica in St. Louis. Becky Sauerbrunn honored the Ladue star, the St. Louis star, the former national team soccer star. Glad to see her be honored. Of course, she's back in the St. Louis area coaching and helping out girls and develop the game that she loves so much as well. Just talking with Jim Hayes. Cards lost 10-7. I'd gotten to a point where I didn't care. The Cardinals put me to a point where I didn't care, Joe. I didn't care. I was like, okay, whatever happens, happens. Then they start winning, and I jump on the bandwagon
Right.
because of expectations in life. We all get
Mhm.
these expectations. Life would be so much more simple if you don't have expectations. Now, that's not meaning being negative. It's just don't put expectations on anything.
You can't tell that the Cubs fans, because that's exactly what they're at every game. They're big fans, even though Cubs are complete trash.
Uh, used to be completely useless by September, but they're good now. From the chat line, are we break time or what?
Yes.
Okay. We're going to go to break. Arch City now. Vic Faust, Pro Joe in the house. Back with more right after this. Hey guys, welcome back to the show. It is Art City Now. Vic Faust, Projo in the house as well. 7:45 on a rainy June 4th throughout the St. Louis metropolitan area. Hope everybody's starting this day off well. Glad you are jumping in with us as well. You can watch us, of course, on X at Art City Now and YouTube, Art City Now, and of course, Lou Info. We are the Lou Information Station, live and on demand at louinfo.com. Glad you were with us today. Of course, people jumping in on the chat lines through YouTube. We love it when you guys do this. We do it for you guys. We love the interaction, not only with us, but with each other. Take your time, jump in and do that as well. Tornado hit near Arrowhead Stadium shortly after the interview with Bill Eigel yesterday. Interesting. Did not know that. Right near the stadium in Kansas City, I guess from the weather standpoint. First of all, number one, pray it wasn't deadly. Two, I didn't hear about any damage or destruction. Obviously, it's on the other side of the state, but we were talking about the Chiefs moving and then a tornado hits. Okay. Very interesting stuff. Appreciate you, Greg, letting us know what happened with that yesterday. Did not know that. You can also like, subscribe, share the show, not only with what we're doing, but with what other shows are doing too. Of course, coming up at 8 o'clock, as we told you, what's coming up on the show. We'll get into that. Hot Take Central 2.0. Cardinals last night, we were just talking about lost. They're supposed to play again this evening. We'll see what happens with the weather standpoint. 7 games after today as well. Battlehawks playing Sunday night, 5 p.m. You can get your tickets. Tickets still opening. Tickets still open. They've opened up more tickets because they sold out the allotment that they had for their semifinal game with the DC Defenders. Stanley Cup Finals begin tonight. Matthew Tkachuk, the St. Louisan, and his Florida Panthers looking to repeat as NHL Stanley Cup champions, taking on the Edmonton Oilers again, playing in Edmonton. Edmonton, of course, a favorite in that series if you didn't know yet. So we'll see where all that goes. Also, there's a new sports bar, things that we have covered over the show. We like to do wrap up towards the end of the show as well, if people are just joining us. And of course, anything else anybody wants to jump in with. The Women's Sports Bar coming to St. Louis. Not quite sure yet or when. They just said it is coming to St. Louis. The Women's Sports Bar began in Portland, Oregon back in 2022. They're going to be opening up in different locations around the country. They said they will focus on their sports, their signature cocktails, certain kinds of beer and cider. And its food menu will cater to vegetarians, and it will cater to what else? Vegetarians. Who else?
I forgot gluten,
Gluten-free.
Yeah.
So they're going to be in the St. Louis area. They say they just want to focus on women. So there you have it. I guess
I have a question. Can we joke about this, or
joke about what? The Women's Sports Bra?
Yeah.
It's called the Women's Sports
Bra. I mean, come on, bra. The comedian in me wants to go crazy on this right now.
Sports Bra? Yeah, they're opening up. We don't know when, buddy.
We call it nut shots.
Yeah.
Or not shots.
Not shots. You got hot shots to not shots. Right. Okay. Not so bad. There you go. I like your attempts.
Sorry.
You're a comedy guy. Other news making headlines as well. We were just talking about it. Singer Kendrick Lamar co-headlining an event tonight at the Dome, not Enterprise, at the Dome downtown. The Grand National Tour with SZA. SZA is spelled S-Z-A, born in St. Louis, by the way, grew up in New Jersey, headlined by Mustard. The investigator from the Pam Hupp case over 10 years ago, Michael Merkel, now facing 2 felony counts for perjury in that murder trial. I mean, that thing was just so bizarre, and being in the St. Louis area and seeing everything that happened with that case and the lies and the deceit and the unaliving of people and just everything about that. Of course, it became movies and Hollywood. And of course, it's still not over. There are still indirect stories leading from that right now that are making headlines, which is just absolutely bizarre. Something else to think about too. It's just sad. It's sad news, but it is news in St. Louis. A 13-year-old lost his life on an ATU in Lincoln County yesterday. Hate to see it, hate to hear it, but those things do happen. They are some of the things that have happened. We had Tony Patrico on earlier in the show to talk about his new show, which is called Sounds of STL. It's going to be on Mondays and Wednesdays from 3 to 4 p.m. He would not confirm nor deny that Dr. Sevegas is finally going to call it quits. He said he's heard that for 6 years, but they have about 20 events coming up in the next 2 months if you wanted to see them. But why would they all of a sudden have 20 events in the next 2 months? Out of nowhere, Pro Joe.
No clue.
Yeah, maybe they are calling it quits.
Maybe.
I don't know. You're the music guy.
Yeah.
Do you know anybody in the band?
No.
All right. You can go check in. I was going to say check in with them.
Yeah.
Check in with him. We'll have him on the
Yeah.
show. We'll talk about him.
Right.
He'll be joining us on the show too. He said at some point in time. Somebody asked me to give a shout out, and that's what St. Louis is all about. Our shout outs. Let us know. Wanted us to give a shout out to the Lafayette boys golf team winning their first state boy golf trophy since 2001. Congratulations. That was a big deal for them to get done. Talking about baseball, Parkway South boys and the Fort Zumwalt West high school baseball team, both getting set to play in the state semifinals in Missouri. I think it was Blue Spring South, the other team, and Staley. So, congratulations to them, obviously giving shout outs from the St. Louis area. You want to give shout outs, you let us know. We'll do it. The show is about you. It's about St. Louis, and we appreciate what we can from that standpoint. No, Greg, I'm not going to say that on the air. We are FCC now. We are not just podcast anymore. If people want to see Greg's dark humor and everything else, they can go to our YouTube channel and check out the I can't talk about a new restaurant to compete with Hooters. Let's just leave it there. A new restaurant to compete with Hooters where just male servers would be taking care of people, serving hot dogs and sausages, to give you an idea. A name that could go along with hot dogs and sausages. Okay, thank you. Back to the show where we try to cater to St. Louis families. No, we love it. Scattered showers throughout the day, everybody. We wish that things could be better there. Yes, you did make me laugh. Another news headline that just came down. We've been talking about it this week. The tornadoes that have hit North St. Louis, that have hit the Central West End and other places, just absolutely devastating. Now you have a St. Louis city politician wanting to take $30 million of the Rams money to help people and to help the areas in great need. Will it help? Yes. When it comes to the greater good of everything happening, is it a drop in the bucket? Yeah, estimated. It may cost close to $2 billion to clean up, take care of St. Louis. And with that coming out, also news coming out this morning that St. Louis is set to demolish about 200 buildings. Set to demolish 200 buildings that were damaged by the tornado, using nearly $13 million from a previously approved program. I mean, I told you, I've driven through the areas. I work in another business. I've been in several of these homes. I've driven these streets. I'm talking to the people. I was down in the Central West End yesterday in the Waterman area, the Pershing area, the DeGuyverville area, as well in the McPherson area, looking at a lot of damage. And, people are doing a pretty good job of cleaning up, but there's still cars stuck that had trees that fell on them. Literally, if people were inside those vehicles, they would have lost their life. Those vehicles are still in the streets, still looks like a bomb went off. But now you're hearing about the Land Reutilization Authority, and the demolition is a part of a greater effort to address the widespread destruction caused by the tornado. So literally, city inspectors have identified about 2,500 properties with significant damage, and only a small percentage of them are vacant. That's unfortunate. You've got 182 buildings slated for demolition, and they represent just a fraction of the more than 370 LRA properties that remain. This is a big deal. It's a huge deal from the city of St. Louis, and a lot of the landscape has changed too. We like to talk about all the happy stuff, but there's other things that are happening that are not all happy, but they are what people are talking about in St. Louis. So if you know somebody and you can help them out, you do so. If there's time that you have to go help with the cleanup, there's still tons of cleanup that are going on. There are groups all over the place that are trying to take care of what's happening with that standpoint as well. Okay, coming up today on the Lou Information Station, live and on demand at louinfo.com. When we finish today, of course, you can watch Hot Take Central 2.0 with Jim Hayes, who joined us earlier in the show, and Cam Jansen. Then coming up from 10 to 11 a.m. today, it's the Dinner Rush with Joe Fresta, talking all things food, St. Louis. Very fascinating show. You want to check that out. Also, from 11 to 1 p.m. today, Charlie Tuna and Tom Wiley bringing you a variety of topics when it comes to a variety of things led by the sports side. And then from 1 to 3, really came out of the gate strong, Next Gen STL. Next Gen STL with some younger guys, freshly graduated from college, really breaking down a lot of fun topics. Interesting, doing a really good job. Grant Salesman, Will Bratton, Grant and I team up for the Mizzou Show every Monday at 10 o'clock as well. We did that just a couple days ago. Then coming up from 3 to 4 today, during that hour long, it's the Sounds of STL with Tony Patrico. Once again, the Sounds of STL with Tony Patrico.
Can't wait for that one.
Yeah, he previewed the show. Your thoughts from that standpoint on what you thought?
I'm excited. I'm excited for him. I'm excited for St. Louis. I'm excited for local music.
Yeah, he did tell us and confirm that what you had said. There are tickets for the Kendrick Lamar show tonight as well, if people are interested. Also, from 4 to 6 o'clock today, In Your City, the In Your City show with Kelly Lamb and Gordon Montgomery. And then from 6 to 9, the Dave Ramsey show. That's all the lineup that we have for this Hump Day Wednesday. And of course, we hope you'll kickstart it and join it. And continuing to be patient with us as we work through some of the technical things that we are when it comes to the interviews, making sure that you can hear the interviews on our social media platforms so that you're not having to sit back and wait and do some of those things or check it out. But if you can never hear, or if you're in a situation where you can't, all you have to do is go to louinfo.com. Once again, louinfo.com. Right now, you can watch us and hear us on YouTube at Arch City Now and also at Lou Info. So Lou Info and Arch City Now, you can watch us on X. You can jump in. You can text us there. You can message with us. We're doing those things. But on YouTube is where you can join the show as well. And that's Arch City Now and Lou Info. And then on X, you can watch us where we have a lot of people that jump into the show as well. That's Arch City Now. Once again, Arch City Now. Cardinals are scheduled to play a baseball game tonight as well. We'll see what happens with the weather. Of course, that's going on downtown. We told you about the concert that is also taking place. And if you have something going on in your community, just let us know. The show's about you, as we said. Let people know, share the show, let people know what we have going on so that we can focus on St. Louis, that we can put that spotlight again on St. Louis and dive into stories and things that are happening about St. Louis. This is your show from a St. Louis standpoint. Also, if you're looking to do a show, you can let us know. ArchCityNow.com. Once again, archcitynow.com will get you hooked up with the boss man. Maybe there's a niche show. Maybe there's something that you do. Maybe there's a show you already do. Maybe you want to do a show. We can help you produce that show. You can contact us at archcitynow@gmail.com, archcitynow@gmail.com. I know we're coming to the end of the show. Have I missed anything? What else do we need to get to, Projo? Anything?
I think we've covered everything.
Anything to add from that standpoint?
No, man.
I'm
sorry.
Yeah, just making sure. News of the day, key points. Car insurance for young boys in the St. Louis area, massive. We know about that. Keep your expectations low. Under promise, over deliver. Lessons of the day. Joe says, yeah, Uber keeps you safer if you go to a concert.
Absolutely.
Most definitely. You don't want anything to happen to yourself or your car. Basically, your car. We already know those things can happen. What else did we learn from? There was something else. There had to be something else that we learned from today. I can't remember. Anyway, we're grateful that you guys joined us for the show today. We'll be back tomorrow. If you have ideas for stories, please let us know. We will jump into that. If you want to have conversations about certain things, let us know that as well. And just get ready. It may be one of those days where it's not an outside day, it's an inside day. So for that, I say thanks to Projo for the work he's been doing to get us going. I'm Vic Faust. This is Arch City Now. Hot Take Central 2.0 coming up next.